Hello, myself Sunil R Nair, and here basically we are discussing about the currencies basically, which connects to lots of departments basically. So here basically we were discussing that how basically the currencies basically are getting handled. So he told that basically the currencies increase decrease lots of more than 3 lakh incidents basically has created by the government basically on the base of the investment basically done in the certain level of places, and that investment basically is affecting which area and which sector of the India country basically. And if it is getting the getting effect to the each and every areas basically, and that area basically are connecting to which all countries basically, that up to that level basically the currency. That's why basically I'm telling every time more than 1,000 books basically are created for this basically increase and decrease currencies and the dependency of the currencies basically. If we search basically the economists basically, with lots of economists basically are there in the India basically, they will say that basically yeah basically these all are the basically currencies basically due to we basically have created and something automatically happened, and few incidents basically are basically created and few incidents basically automatically happened basically on the base of the certain level of incidents basically. The few basically incidents basically are are created on the base of the energies basically also. Like this basically he told that basically which all are basically created on the base of energy. Like this each and every basically economists say that basically we have created certain level of books here basically. For that books basically book will say basically that basically yes basically this incidence is basically on the base of this. They will directly basically will not tell that basically this incidents basically, they will basically never basically going to say basically that incident story basically. They are basically going to write according to the economic language only basically, that basically the how basically the currency got decrease, how the currency got increase. For that basically how many more than 3 lakh incidents basically has been created by the government group basically, and how the government group says that basically each and every area incidents basically are connecting to the thousands of more than hundreds of country basically, because USA basically do the investment, right? So they basically done the investment in this area, India has done the investment in that area of the USA basically is telling that we have invested lots of money basically in other country also, and that area where the India basically investment is done, that area is also connecting to the other countries also basically. So like this the investment basically are basically mapped also basically, that like this basically you can say that because each and every human needs basically which we are using it might possible that potato basically is using USA potato, who is basically creating the USA software company, and the software potato basically who is creating that company, who is basically created that potato basically on the base of that software company basically. They might possible that basically they would be selling this potato in India also. It might possible that they might be selling the potato in Europe also basically. It might possible they might be selling the potato in Italy also basically. So that depends upon the customer basically, how basically they have the customer basically. So according to that basically the India basically say that basically we always keep ourselves clear basically that your basically country, we have invested our money in this area. This area basically is getting used by other people also, so we have created according to that the incidents basically, and we few incidents basically automatically happen that on the base of the energy basically, that is the that area basically is connected with the how many countries. For example, there are the area basically where India basically invested the money, that area is connecting to more than 35 countries basically. So that 35 country energy basically, it might possible that automatically affects to the India country also basically. Why? Because the investment basically has done to that land of the USA, and USA basically might possible that basically USA basically might be, because if you create anything basically in that land basically, then by default basically according to the investment basically who has done that basically, who has basically invested here basically, that basically automatically it gets information by the the information is automatically basically comes into the picture that this is the person basically of the country basically who basically has done the investment basically. So like this basically the each and everything basically gets connect with each other. So like this basically one of the person told that basically like this also basically the investment basically has done. So like this one person told that do we have the currency energy diagram basically, then he told that basically yes basically we have the currency diagram energy, and we have created more than 22 people also basically for the currency's energy basically, and currency energy basically are equal to physical creation also basically has been happened for this 22 people. So 22 people basically gets the energy on the base of certain existing investment, or basically it might possible that the future investment basically or also basically might be possible. So like this he told that basically yes, basically the investment basically are done basically. So like this he told that the investment basically has done basically, and like this basically this is also the currencies basically are also affecting to the earthquake also. So one of the person told that basically this earthquake basically just now happened. Yes, this just now basically happened the earthquake basically. So basically which sector basically that earthquake is basically affecting, can you please tell basically? Then he told that basically it's very difficult here basically to tell that earthquake basically happening in which sector basically. Then he told that basically we have the set of energies basically, right? Then on the basis of energy and the diagram basically we can predict that basically where basically the earthquake is happening, on the basis of which energy basically is conflicting the thing basically. So just now basically in earthquake happened in Peru and central Turkey, Spain, basically western Turkey, Mexico, and India basically also basically the earthquake has happened. Like this basically lots of place basically the earthquake has happened, right? Then he told that yes, basically earthquake has happened. So that basically earthquake has basically happened on the basis of which data basically. Then he told that basically it might possible that it might possible that currency energy basically might have affected. Then it might possible that the software industry basically some energy basically might have conflict. So like this he told that basically conflict basically has happened between the energies basically. Due to that conflict basically the earthquake basically happened, and the earthquake is equal to stable data basically converted into the unstable data basically. That is actually the incidence basically which has happened, and the power company says that basically we have sent the data to 2 months before only basically that this type of power supply is going to send, and this many magnitude basically might come basically, because prediction basically they can only do the prediction basically, they can't say basically until the incidence basically doesn't happen, they can't say that basically the earthquake is 100% going to come, but they say that basically 100% earthquake basically might come basically, because they are basically the data matrix and each and every matrix basically which they have created on the base of the currency energy basically, and the each and every energy basically which is created by the software company, by the industrial sector, by the currencies company, by the blood cells group, by the construction industry, like this by the software industry, like each and every people basically has created their energy basically. Like this basically the 3 lakh incidents basically are also created by the government. So government says that basically earthquake basically happens basically because the conflict of the energy basically, because in environment basically there are many conflicts, like this mobile basically is also connected with the environment, the internet basically are also connected with the environment. Like this basically it might possible that the sometime basically the conflict might happen, and due to that basically the uh, stable environment basically might convert into the unstable environment, that basically by default basically, or basically you create the perfect matrix that basically is not going to affect the, it's not going to come the earthquake basically. That basically it was that basically mostly that type of matrix basically few country has created, but that basically it's in trial basically, but that basically that type of matrix basically also basically might be possible basically, but that is basically on the base of the trial basically. But that basically few people says that basically that is very difficult basically to create this type of matrix basically in the environment basically, because you can whatever this area basically where the people basically are staying, there only basically you can create the matrix. Where the blank area is there basically, there you can't create the matrix now, because it's there is no meaning of creating the matrix there basically, because the people basically are staying there only basically, the stable environment is basically required. The reason basically is the energies are, the energy basically has created, like buildings are created, that's why basically you require the matrix now basically. And in the blank area basically, blank land area basically, their matrix are not required because the nothing has created there basically, so basically their energy is not required. So like this basically he told that basically the currencies dependency are basically too much, and basically more than 1,000 basically books are also created for the currencies dependency. How many how the Indian currencies are dependent on the USA currency, how basically the USA currencies depend on European currency, how the Indian currency basically depends on how many countries basically, and how the countries basically gets conflict. Like this basically all we are going to discuss in next video basically.